wrestling, obey my commands. Trunks are a little high on both of you, so I'm not going to call them right on the line. Touch them up. Suerte, combate.
Junto Nakatani moving up in weight to challenge himself against Alexandro Santiago. Round one underway of this championship fight. Karan Bhatia on the call, joined by Chris Algieri. Alejandro Santiago in the gray and black trunks. Junto Nakatani in the silver trunks with the white gloves. And this is shaping up for a fantastic matchup, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one I'm really looking forward to. Santiago really impressed me in his last win when he beat the legend, Nonito Donaire. Put on a great 12-round performance. This is Nakatani's first fight at this weight class, so not only just moving up, not only just fighting in a world title fight, not only that, but he's fighting a very, very tough champion in Alexandro Santiago tonight.
And Junto Nakatani listed at 5'8", so he's tall for this weight class. He actually started his career, Chris, at 104.25 pounds, which is actually very incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible even now. Here, 5'8" at 118 pounds. You know, and you see that long body, long torso, very wide stance, which is always interesting to me that Nakatani can get the power that he gets, even though he fights out of that wide stance the way he is.
And there we saw the left hand come in. Nakatani uses the right hand to blind his opponents, and it's that long left hand, sometimes to the head, sometimes to the body. We saw him throw it there again, and it's a very dangerous weapon.
Yeah, he's very explosive too, so you know, the blinding lead hand and then that big power to follow up in the left hand. I'm curious to see how he carries that power here into this new weight class. Santiago's not known as a puncher, but he is a physically bigger man. He's been in this weight class for a longer amount of time. A little clash of heads there.
And just in terms of sheer grit and determination, Alejandro Santiago taking out Nonito Donaire. It wasn't easy. He really had to dig deep. And we mentioned he was also going through some personal turmoil. His house burned down. His wife and kid were in danger there. They got out okay, but that wasn't easy to deal with in terms of the preparation for him in that fight.
No, he was cut over both eyes in that fight. Took some big, big power from Nonito Donaire, who's got legendary power early on, but it was his work rate and his engine that won him the day in that night. Let's see if he can bring that same energy and effort here tonight against Nakatani.
And his heart and his will, tough as they come, and that's why this is such an intriguing matchup. Both fighters coming from humble beginnings. Both fighters hungry with determination and will, and that's why they've reached this position and this moment. And just you can see the size difference, Chris. I mean, it's very apparent, and that's going to make for a truly interesting dynamic in this championship fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You see those long legs, that wide stance. You know, I always say Nakatani reminds me of a praying mantis in the way that he stands. He's got those hands up high. He's got those legs spread wide. He's able to counter with explosiveness and good reactions. Here we're seeing that all on display.
Nakatani listed at 5'8", Santiago at 5'3". Nakatani with the 69 1/4 inch reach, Santiago with the 65.5. So it is going to be a stark difference in this fight. But Chris, as you mentioned, this is Santiago's weight class, right? He's comfortable at this weight, and this is the first time Nakatani is moving up those 3 pounds.
Yeah, you saw that attempted counter uppercut from the outside from Nakatani. I had mentioned last round that he draws a line in the sand, and then as you cross that critical distance line, he'll let that left hand go like that, whether it be an overhand left like that or the uppercut, which you saw a few moments ago.
And not only is it an electric, lightning-fast left hand, but he uses the right to blind you. So it makes it all that more tough to defend against it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see him landing that jab over the top consistently. Boom, and they puts that left hand right behind it. Lightning quick. Oh, and don't forget about those uppercuts. I almost forgot about those. I don't know how, because of the Maloney fight, he couldn't miss with either hand the uppercuts, but that's a very dangerous weapon for him. Being so tall, everyone has to kind of crouch to get in, which opens them up for uppercuts up the middle.
And you see Nakatani's style there, doing what he should do as the taller, longer fighter, right? putting that right hand, that lead hand out there, almost like a rangefinder, sometimes throwing it, sometimes not, but just keeping it out there to bother Santiago.
Well, he uses it as an obstruction, both offensively and defensively. You mentioned that he blinds you with that shot. He was obstructing your vision, but also at the same time, when he takes a half step back and he keeps that hand out there, it keeps you that much further away. So he's either obstructing your vision or your movement with that lead hand, and he wants to unveil that left power shot. You see him setting it up. That's why his feet are so wide. He puts a lot of weight on that back foot to unleash that left hand.
And sometimes watching tape on Nakatani, you see him throw the jab and then the left hand, but then other times he'll double up on the jab. That changes the timing, and then a fighter on the other side is not ready for the left hand because it comes a second later than you're expecting it to.
You know what they say, the punch you don't see is the one that hurts the most, and that's what Nakatani wants to do. He wants to hit you with that punch you don't see. But Santiago's super tough. You're going to have to catch him with something that he's not aware of.
Halfway through this round 3. So we saw at the end of round 2, Santiago had success when he was able to close distance. And we've been talking about how difficult that is to do, Chris, because you've got to take punishment to do so. But should Santiago try to ride that momentum and do the same thing he did at the end of round 2?
What Santiago needs to do is he needs to deceptively close distance, get himself to a position where he can explode and still get to Nakatani. The difficulty there is tricking Nakatani into him not realizing you're getting that close. Because if he tries to explode from the outside, it's going to be very easy for Nakatani to take a half step back and be able to counter. That big left hand over the top catches Santiago when he thought he was safe on the way out, still was able to land.
That's a testament to the long left hand and the reach of Nakatani. That big left hand over the top. And there it is again. Nakatani now finding a home for the left hand.
And that's the thing, when Nakatani wants to go forward, he can be very explosive. Comes through with that 1-2. Now we got blood over the eye of the champion Santiago, over that right eye, probably from that overhand left. I had mentioned he was cut there, actually over both eyes, in the fight against Junto Donaire, his last fight 7 months ago.
It really just plays into what we've been talking about in terms of Alexandro Santiago's toughness. And we saw the cut open up, and that's part of the way that he fights, with will and determination.
Nice jab from Nakatani. Good timing, good distance. Half step back, snaps the jab.
Left hand gets through again for Nakatani. And that time it was more in the looping fashion. So that just adds another variable to Nakatani's attack. Sometimes that left hand is straight, sometimes it's looping, and you really never know. And of course the Maloney fight, which we showed highlights of, that was the looping left hand where he knocked out Maloney in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, but we saw there, as soon as he threw that looping shot, he got into dangerously close position, and that's where Santiago fired back with his overhand right. So Nakatani has realized, okay, not yet. I can go to the looping punches later, but I got to stay long. I got to stay straight for now. The right hand from Santiago over the top as Nakatani throws the left uppercut from too far away.
And it seemed like Santiago had success with that right hand because it was a lead right hand, right? Usually, sometimes you set up the power shot with the jab, but that time it was a lead, so it caught Nakatani by surprise.
Yeah, Santiago is starting to realize that he has to punch with Nakatani because of his control of the range. So as Nakatani steps in to try and hit him, he's got to throw with him. The problem with that is he opens himself up for those shots coming back his way, but really that's his only shot at this point. He needs to punch with Nakatani.
.45 seconds to go in round 4. Junto Nakatani working the jab, working at distance. Alexandro Santiago, the champion, trying to close distance and find openings on the difficult Junto Nakatani. And we do have open scoring in this fight. All three judges have given every round so far to Junto Nakatani, 40-36. So a huge advantage for the challenger, Junto Nakatani, Chris.
Yeah, that's a good start. I mean, I wouldn't know how else you could score it at this point. Nakatani doing a great job of containing Santiago, keeping him on the outside and controlling the distance throughout.
We've seen moments for Santiago. At the end of round 2, he was able to get inside and close some distance and land some power shots. But a lot of this fight has been Junto Nakatani working the jab at distance and following it up with power shots.
Yeah, at this range, you're just not going to beat Nakatani. He is a master at keeping the distance, throwing those long punches. He's got the height and the reach advantage. He can do this all night long. Clash of heads there.
And with everything we've said, there is something to be said for will, determination, toughness. We saw that in our last fight with Christian Bakasegwa. He wasn't successful, but he was able to go the distance. And the same thing here for Alejandro Santiago. He's as tough as they've come, and the difference is he's also had success at the World Championship level. So I don't see Alejandro Santiago continuing this fight without at least trying other tactics, trying to get inside, trying to change up the momentum of this fight.
Well, I mean, he is the champion. He is defending his title. Nakatani is the challenger. So, you know, it's going to be more than just trying. I mean, nobody wants to leave their belt. Ooh, good shots there from Nakatani as he backs Santiago up. Ooh, good combinations, letting those hands fly.
Junto Nakatani sweeping the opening rounds and now putting on a show in round 5. Combinations, quickness, movement. Left hands upstairs, seemingly unanswered.
Santiago was frozen there for a moment. He wasn't sure where the punches were coming from. Nakatani mixing up these combinations very well.
So far, according to open scoring and what we've been seeing here, it's been all Junto Nakatani using that height advantage, that reach advantage, working off the jab, working off of movement. And Alejandro Santiago looking to make adjustments, looking to get inside.
Looking to no avail so far here in round.
Oh! Huge left hand by Nakatani drops the champion, Alejandro Santiago, in round 6.
You know, I'd mentioned multiple times he was going to have to hit the champion with a shot that he didn't see or anticipate. Santiago did not see that punch coming. Straight left hand right down the middle. Beautiful shot. Catches him on the point of the chin, put him down.
And here comes Junto Nakatani.
Oh.
Right hand. Down goes Santiago again. This time it was the right hook that caused damage to drop Santiago for the second time.
I think the corner stopped it. Yeah, yep, that's it.
That's the end of the fight. Junto Nakatani, the challenger, now champion at bantamweight with a 6th round TKO win over Alejandro Santiago.
That was very impressive. Junto Nakatani is very special. I am super impressed. I was very high on Santiago. This is a tough fight, like I mentioned, moving up in weight, moving up right into a title fight, right against a very tough champion, and to put him away that way, wow. Shutout and then a 6th-round stoppage, super impressive.
He dared to be great. Undefeated Japanese phenom Junto Nakatani does it again. Highlight reel knockout, and now world champion in another weight class. Sky is certainly the limit for Junto Nakatani.
That man is special, absolutely.
And it wasn't for lack of trying for Alejandro Santiago. We mentioned the humble beginnings for him, the toughness. He got dropped, he got up, he came forward. But Junto Nakatani was just too much. There's too many weapons there for the challenger tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a big ask for Santiago. You know, Junto was fighting really well at distance tonight, controlling the pace and the range perfectly. It was a nearly flawless performance. He got hit with a couple of shots there in round 2 and 3. But once he dialed in and started letting those hands go, Santiago just looked lost. And that first knockdown, I don't believe he ever recovered from that shot. He didn't see the left hand that dropped him. Beautiful shot right in the chin. Got up on unsteady legs, and Nakatani followed up, got him out of there. Fantastic work from Nakatani. And I get the feeling Team Nakatani is not surprised at all by the way this fight went.